Hey everyone, I'm your astrologer Wonder Girl, taking you to new heights. Here is your daily forecast for the day of Saturday, June 16th, 2018. Now before I get started, I did just want to remind you all, I'm still on horoscope.com doing horoscopes there. I do one every day. It's in between, 3 and 5 minutes. I think they've been now. If you need something a little bit shorter or just want something extra as well to listen to, please check me out. I'm on their Facebook page. They share it a lot of times, horoscope.com on Facebook Watch. And I'm also on their website too, and I'll put the link to that down below in my description box. Now for your horoscope for today, what we have is the moon entering Leo at 2 a.m. Mountain Time, okay? It's going to put the moon somewhere right around here. And when the moon's in Leo, brings our attention to being happy, to finding more of the joy in life, the passion, the pleasure, to having fun. Sometimes I like to think of Leo ruling entertainment, so trying to entertain yourselves, also wanting to be open, to share your heart, to be playful, and leadership a lot of times comes into Leo. Other things that Leo rules, children too, and romantic relationships may become a little bit more of a focus during the days while the moon is there. Okay, so that's what's going on. Now, typically, the moon in Leo, I like to think, is very joyful. It's very happy. A lot of your fire signs, for sure. I like to think that, especially Sagittarius and Leo. But this moon in Leo may not quite be as happy or playful as it normally is. That's because right after the moon enters Leo, around 3 a.m. Mountain Time, so that's an hour after it enters Leo, the moon will then come into a square with Uranus and Taurus. And what that can bring are some unexpected events. Because Uranus is in Taurus, a sign it does not like, and because this is a square, these unexpected things that come up could be a little bit challenging. All right, they most likely, with Uranus being in Taurus, are going to have to do with money, with your confidence, with your gifts and skills and talents in some way. If something unexpected doesn't happen to you, perhaps it is an unexpected insight that may be a little bit jarring, or perhaps you yourself want to break free from a financial situation, break free to be more confident. That may not be as easy as you were hoping it would be, okay? So that's what's happening at 3 a.m. Then 2 hours later, 5 a.m., the moon moves a little bit further through Leo and comes into a conjunction with Venus, which you can kind of see it in this chart. Okay, so that's going to make a lot of the unexpected things come up. Again, have to do with money and your confidence, your value systems that may not be comfortable. All right, because Venus is the ruler of Taurus. The moon is making a square to Uranus in Taurus, and then it's coming over Venus, which rules Taurus. Okay, Venus also rules Libra as well, so not only could you be thinking a lot about money, about your values, about your confidence, that could be a little bit unexpected or uncomfortable. Relationships could also play a part. There could be some unexpected things that come up that you then have to learn how to do with relationships, how to deal with relationships, how to integrate to the other people in your life, to your value systems. That may not be the easiest, especially because at the same time, the moon comes into this conjunction with Venus, which is at 5 a.m. Mountain Time. It's also going to come into a trine with Chiron. So this is not a good spot. To be honest with you, I'm glad, at least in my part of the world, that it is happening during nighttime. Although I never underestimate the power of emails, which can come overnight, and comments. But this is not the happiest alignment. Even though Leo is very happy, is very joyful, there are a lot of things that are happening very, very early that could bring up some unexpected events that could be a little bit painful, could trigger some old wounds, some sensitivities. May make it hard for you to do the things that you want, because now you have to take care of practical matters. You know, Leo, again, I know I keep saying it's a fire sign. It's all about being happy. And it squares Taurus, because Taurus is like, you can't be happy unless your needs are taken care of, unless your practical matters are taken care of. And Leo doesn't want to deal with practical matters. That should have been done like 4 signs ago, you know, and now we're having to deal with all these other things, saying, look, it may be hard for you this morning to find the joy, to do the things that you really like, that resonate truly with your heart. Leo rules the heart, because now money, do you have the money to do this? Or some money is coming in and out, or now you don't feel confident enough to do it, or maybe relationships are bringing some things up, okay, that are making it hard. And with the trying to Chiron and Aries, maybe not knowing what to do next as a result of this thing that came up. Okay, well now what do I do? I don't know how to do this. I wasn't planning on this. That can make it difficult. Or maybe again with Chiron and Aries, which it will be in for the next few years, maybe having to sacrifice some of the things that you want with the moon in Leo, some of the things that make you happy, so that you can make sure that your practical matters are taken care of, that your confidence is there, that you have the security and stability that you need before you can move on. All right, so I do see that being a little bit of a hard spot this morning in between like 2 a.m. when the moon enters Leo and 5 a.m. Mountain Time. Okay, then things might get a little bit better a few hours later. That's because at 11 a.m. Mountain Time, the moon moves further through Leo and comes into a conjunction with the North Node. I typically do see the North Node as favorable. I like the North Node. To me, it rules fate, it rules destiny, it rules your future, it rules the things in this lifetime that you need to cultivate and to do more of. So I do like to think that if anything uncomfortable comes up throughout the day, the very beginning of the day, at least if you're in my part of the world, I do like to think that by the time 11 a.m. Mountain Time rolls around, that maybe you'll get at least some glimmer of hope or some idea of what you need to do in order to move forward, even if some challenging things are still lingering, some uncomfortable things are still hanging around. I like to think the North Node here at 11 a.m. will help you figure out, okay, maybe I didn't know what to do. Maybe there are some things I need to do that I don't want to do, that aren't really what I want but can help me. I think again the moon being on the North Node will say, you know what, I gotta do it. I gotta do it. If I do it, it'll help. Now I will maybe even give you some more understanding and why some of the things came up. So I do like this alignment. All right, you still may not be feeling comfortable. I hope I'm hitting that home, but I do think that the moon coming over the North Node will maybe give you at least more purpose as to why you are dealing with the things you are dealing with. And may give you a little bit more hope or insight as to what you need to do and how and what it's all for. All right, again with the North Node being in Leo, if the North Node indicates things we need to cultivate more of, being in Leo, leadership is key. So if you're feeling like, I don't know what's going on, things are just hard, there are a lot of things I want to do that I can't, then when the moon comes on top of the North Node at 11 a.m., it may be time for you to take the lead of your life, to be the leader in some kind of situation. If you're with a group of people and they don't know what's going on, or if you yourself are all over the place, maybe that's the time for you to stand up, take the lead, to organize things, to do what needs to be done, so that you can move on, okay? And to not let things passively happen to you, but with Leo and with the fire sign, actively taking control of what is going on so that you can fix it and make it better. All right, and I think that that will help. Again, with the moon here and with Mars in the South Node, it's not about forcing things, especially when there are so many unexpected things going on. It's about leading with your heart. You know, I like to think Leo is all about heart-based leadership, showing people what's in your heart, and feeling into what other people are feeling, what other people want and desire, and then choosing the best way based on that, from which to proceed. Right, so if I were to give you some advice, that's what I would say around 11 a.m. Because I think if you do lead, if you do take some initiative to listen to your heart, to listen to the hearts of others, to choose the best path forward, even if you're not feeling quite right, I do think the moon on the North Node will at least give you some luck in finding some kind of resolution, even if it's not what you want, but helping you a little bit do what needs to be done. All right, so we've got that. Then a few hours later, 3 p.m. Mountain Time, the moon moves further through Leo and comes into an opposition with Mars. All right, the moon in opposition with Mars, again, is kind of like, to me, similar to the moon in opposition with Pluto, which it was yesterday, although Pluto to me is a lot more deep, a lot more intense, a lot more subconscious, the feelings that it digs up. But the moon in opposition with Mars at 3 p.m. today could definitely bring up some very aggressive feelings, feeling very strongly, feelings coming on fast, hot and heavy, may not always be nice since the moon doesn't always like Mars, all right? And just needing, again, to be careful if feelings come up, all right? I definitely don't see today being one of those like super calm, relaxing days. It's intense. This day is super intense. The beginning of the day is like, unexpected things may not feel that easy to handle. Then maybe you get a slight handle on at 11 a.m. if you listen to your heart and take the lead. okay? And then all of a sudden after you do that, or while you're trying to pick up the pieces and to move forward, then again there could be some intense feelings, aggressive feelings. Maybe again with the moon and an opposition with Mars, people are being aggressive with you, a little too aggressive, assertive, overpowering. And yet just needing to watch that to get the balance just right. Okay, to feel what you're feeling, but to not go overboard, to not get too lost in your emotions, to make sure that you take care of your responsibilities, that you move forward, you know, especially for Leo, the sign of the leader. The other people depend on a leader. They like to follow the leader. So you need to make sure that you're making the best decisions here for your own well-being and for the well-being of others, even if you're under a lot of stress from a lot of other things in your life. All right, I'm hoping that the leader analogy helps inspire some of you today. All right. Yeah, I know the opposition to Mars. The opposition to Mars is also hard with the South Node. Because again, we're feeling frustrated about things we want to do, that the moon's triggering, that we can't do. Especially with the trying to Chiron, like our impulse to act and to make things happen is like feeling a little stifled. Mars as well just wants to fit in. I think that's a big part that's causing the aggression maybe that could come in today, or the strong emotions that aren't the easiest to deal with. Maybe we want to sit back. We want to make sure that, like, you know, we know where our life is going, that we see the big picture. And I think it's one of those times today where it's like sometimes you got to lead even if you don't know what you're doing. Like that, you know, it's like sometimes people always think, you know, leaders have to have all the answers. You know, I don't want to like moralize, but sometimes I think that's the problem with like leadership, especially in America, is that people expect leaders in companies, in politics, to have all of the answers, and you don't have to have all of the answers to lead. Your life does not have to be perfect for you to inspire others, for you to help others, for you to help yourself. All it takes in Leo, fire sign, the sign of the lion, is courage. To be bold, to believe in yourself, to be confident. Okay, even though I know the square to Taurus is maybe making confidence hard, but all it takes sometimes with Leo is like one risk, one glimmer of you believing in yourself, and having the passion to do what needs to be done to make things happen that you need. Okay? So I think that there's the struggle that like comes in today where it's like, man, like we're trying to be happy, but we can't because there's these unexpected things that are coming up. And then when we do be happy, it's hard because we don't know, I don't know where my life's going. How can I be happy when I have so many questions with Mars in the South Node about my future, about my group of friends, about who I interact with, about the people that are meant for me, about what inspires me, about where I see everything going, you know? And so I do believe there's lots of frustrations that it's like, man, I just want to feel like secure in my life so that I can be happy, and I can't even have that. And now that I don't even have that, I can't, like, it's just, I think there can just be some hard things that we're feeling. And I think the message is you don't have to have all of the answers to lead, to take initiative of your life, to do the things that need to be done, to be happy. You don't have to have your money lined up in the way that you want it to enjoy life. You know, you don't have to have, you know, the perfect vision of your life so that you can feel better. I know that we want to, I think it's important, but I think in the astrology right now, it's not like that. We don't have those things that we want. And I think the astrology is saying it's okay. It's okay. You do not have to be perfect to help others. You do not have to be perfect to help yourself. You just have to show up. You have to show up and you have to be brave in the sign of the lion, Leo the lion, and you have to keep pushing through and to have your interests and the best interests of everyone else in mind, and that will be enough. All right, so that's what's going on there. Then that's all that happens for today. After 3 p.m. the moon is just going to hang out, and the next aspect that the moon's going to make is going to be tomorrow at 12 a.m. so actually very early tomorrow morning for me, mountain time. And the aspect that the moon's going to make, it's going to be in Leo and it's going to square Jupiter. All right, sometimes squares can be hard, but I think squares to Jupiter, in my opinion, tend to be a little bit easier than squares to other planets. So I think what comes in at 12 a.m. is then trying to make sense of everything that's just occurred today. Crazy day, up and down, very intense. And I think the moon in a square with Jupiter tomorrow morning is saying, okay, process what happened, make sense of what happened, recap. What do you need to change with Jupiter and Scorpio to do different? And so that you can be happy, so that you can adjust to your circumstances. Again, with the moon, this being the moon in a square with Jupiter, how do you need to change your emotional responses, how you feel, what makes you happy, your leadership style? Even if it's not perfect, it doesn't have to be perfect, but how can you just tweak a few things here so that you can feel better, so that you can do what you want and need, and move forward? And I think that's what starts to come in. And yeah, I know it could be hard because it's like, we just want to be happy. Leo just wants to express its heart and to be with people and, you know, show everyone love. And it's like, it's not really like that right now with all these, with what's going on in Leo. And I think just needing, if you can't be happy, if it's hard for you to be happy in the way that you want, to not stress out. There's a lot going on. There's a lot we're trying to work out. It's not going to come together overnight, but it's not going to come together if you give up either, if you stop doing things. So just keep pushing through and living life, making choices the best you know how, and that will be good enough, especially if you mean well and are trying to help yourself and are trying to help others. I think things will turn out okay if you just do not give up. Now, other things going on in the background today, we do have Venus. I just mentioned this because the moon is here today, but Venus is in a square with Uranus and a trine with Chiron, so I'll go over that quickly. Could bring unexpected events up in relationships or money that may not feel the most comfortable for you, that you may not know how to proceed with Chiron and Aries once these unexpected things come up. If they're not external events, again, could be insights that you receive that happen, or you yourself wanting to break free from some things that, again, are not making you feel quite happy because you've got other practical matters that need to be taken care of. All right, so that's what's happening there. I do like to think that even if these things are hard, they will find some kind of pleasant, positive resolution in some way, with Venus coming over on top of the North Node next week, I believe. All right, this positive resolution may not be like the most lighthearted thing you've ever seen. Like, I think we're still going to be smarting a little bit from this Uranus square and this trine to Chiron that Venus just made, but I think there's going to be, again, some glimmers of hope there that can guide you forward if you're just patient. Don't freak out. Don't push things if things aren't quite where you want. All right. Okay, so we've got that there. We also do have Mercury in an opposition with Saturn today. Again, can bring up some serious conversations that you're having with people or with yourself that may not be that pleasant. Feeling restricted. It's hard for you to get clarity. It's hard for you to think positively in the ways that you want about things. Again, needing to not be afraid, if that's the case, to think long term sometimes with Saturn instead of in the moment. And if you can think long term, to try to get that picture in your mind, I know, even though that may be hard now with the South Node in Aquarius, but if you can think, perhaps maybe long term is not it, but if you can think about your responsibilities, about what you need to get done, so that you don't create, so that things don't fall by the wayside, I think that might help. Choices as well with opposition. So you may have to make choices too between what needs to get done and what you need to feel comfortable. All right. Or maybe needing to make some decisions to change the balance in your life a little bit so that you can find more of that comfort. I know this is like a hard thing, because I really do think we're trying to be comfortable in life, but it's just hard. We're getting hit by so many things here that are unexpected, so many responsibilities, some deep feelings going on. I got some quincunxes that are not that comfortable, and I think it really is just like, man, you gotta just be patient through this process. You got to do the best that you know how. You got to keep your head in the game the best you can as you navigate through this time. Try to make decisions where you need, get the clarity where you can get it, even if it's not big insights. You got to just take what you can get and do your best to bring the boundaries in, to bring the structures in that you need so that you can start to feel better. All right, I think I mentioned this, but Mars in the South Node, again, frustration. I don't want to give you all a really depressing report for today. I think there are some good things that can come with Moon in the North Node. All right, but I do want to affirm those of you who are having tough times that this is not the easiest of astrology, and today and yesterday in particular may have been a little bit tumultuous. All right, and just be patient. Do not freak out. Do not freak out. You know, I hear about the things that goes on in the news with celebrities and stuff. It's not easy astrology. Just because things are bad today does not mean it will be bad forever. Okay, don't make a hasty decision. Don't make a hasty decision based on feelings of insecurity or loss or uncertainty that you may regret later, because things will clear up. You know, I know it's been a tough year. Things will clear up. And we're in the process of trying to clear things up, even if we have to get things out of order before the clarity comes, all right? Just hang in there. Hang in there. All right? Yeah, I think we're just trying to figure things out, what we really want or need with relationships and money. That may be a little bit hard because now we're getting these insights. It's like, well, how do we put this into place? How do we make this happen? It's frustrating. It's not coming together immediately in the way that I want. You know, having to be patient, having to think responsibly, to act responsibly, which sometimes responsibility isn't always fun. Having to think responsibly, act responsibly in the process, make some hard choices until all of that work pays off, which it will pay off, just maybe not right now. Okay, hang in there. The next thing I want to mention too is Jupiter and a trine with Neptune. I've been talking about it for a while, so I do like that. There are hard things going on, but I think what's going on has a lot to do with inside. We're digging up some deep stuff emotionally. We're getting to the root of the matter. We're getting to what's really going on deep down inside us. Neptune stationing, I think we are. We're figuring out what we really want, what we really feel, what's really going on, and I think that's resulting in us saying, okay, now that we're having these deep feelings, now that we're understanding better emotionally, maybe we need to change some things. Maybe we need to bring some things out into open. Maybe we need to figure some of these things out. That's frustrating because we didn't expect to deal with this. And maybe because we didn't expect to deal with this, now we didn't expect our life to go in this weird direction that we can't really see where it's going to end up. And I think a lot of this stuff going on, especially with Venus on the North Node, says, who cares if you don't know where all of this is going to end up? Do the best you can. Do the best you can. Lead with your heart. Love yourself, love other people. That will be enough. That will be enough. All right. Your card for the day is the 8. It's the 8 of Cups reversed. This card is all about timing. I believe I normally, say that about this card. And when it's reversed again, timing is hard. Figuring out when's the right time to do what. Figuring out as well what is really in your heart. A lot of times I see this card as a man leaving an old life behind to do something that really resonates with him. Leaving old things that he liked, that were good for him, that he loved at one point. You know, that's hard. It's like, I love it. Like, you know, I almost feel like that's where we are right now. Like, we're leaving some things behind and we're moving into a new life. And it's like, well, why do I have to leave this behind? Like, there were some things about my old life that I really loved. You know, there were some things about my old life I really liked. Why do I have to let that go? And I think this card is saying, right, that you don't have to hate something to leave it behind. You know? Yeah, I know, it's just so fascinating. I mean, maybe that's what it is that we kind of liked the way things were, and now all of a sudden things are like not the way they were, and maybe that's a little bit upsetting. And I really do feel like this card is saying, I mean, with this Uranus square today is like, life isn't what it used to be. It's not going to be what it used to be. Maybe that's the message. You are being called to another place in your life, to another chapter with new experiences, different things that's unknown, that you may not understand, that other people in your life may not understand right now. And I think this card is saying, to go with the spirit of it instead of my like scripted interpretation that I have for all these cards, my interpretation of this is, you gotta let go. You gotta let go and let yourself into this new territory, even if it's unknown, even if it's uncertain. I feel like that's been a big thing today in the reading. Even if you don't know where you're going or what you're doing, feel your way through the dark. Especially with all of this water stuff, use your heart. You know, it's like, that's almost the best GPS system. Who cares if other people don't understand what's in your heart? You know? Do it anyways. You know? If that's what you really feel that you're being called to do, even if it's confusing, even if it doesn't make sense, even if it's scary, you know, it's like Leo, we're in Leo with the moon in Leo. Now we're gonna have the eclipses there next month in Cancer and in Leo. The sun, when you think of the sun, following your heart is hard. When you look at the sun, it's blinding. You know, it blinds you, and it's not good for your eyes. It's not good to look at the sun. You know, the sun rules Leo. And so it could be times now where our heart is calling us to things and we're like, oh, what is this? It's blinding. It's hurting my eyes. It hurts. You know, and I think it's just like, you gotta go with your heart. You gotta go where you're being called to at this time, where doors are opening. That may not be what you want to do, what you thought your life would be, what you expected your life would be. Sometimes I think of Aquarius as like the expectations of society. It's not that, you know, and that's okay. Go in that direction. Follow it. Your heart will tell you when the time is right. Your heart will tell you when the time is right. And I think that that's the message. Listen to your heart. I think I like sang that song like a few months ago. But I definitely think you got to listen to your heart. You know, there is no right time. There is no right time for anything. That's what I'm feeling called to say. There is no right time for anything other than the time when you feel it's right, when you know it in your bones, when it's right. I had a reading with someone the other day who was very much talked to me about that a lot, and I think that that's, and had some Leo as well in the chart, and I think that that's the message of this card. Follow your heart. Your heart knows when it's time. If you're feeling like right now is not the right time for you to do things, then maybe it's not. And when it is the right time, you will know, and trust that. You will know. Trust in yourself. All right. So that's what I'll leave you with today. Thank you so much for watching my horoscope. I hope you liked it. If you did, please like it on YouTube, subscribe to my channel, share it with your friends, and I will talk to you later.